The door closes. You're alone. Do you feel it? That creeping sense of emptiness, a quiet ache. The noise of the world is usually so good at drowning out. You might even fear the silence because it forces you to face yourself. This fear of being alone isn't a sign that you need other people. It's a sign that you've become a stranger to yourself. But what if you could turn that fear into your greatest strength? What if that empty room could become your throne room? A 2000-year-old Roman philosopher, a man who survived political exile and incredible chaos, left us a guide not just to endure being alone, but to master it. This isn't about coping with loneliness. This is about turning solitude into a superpower. Section 1. The Modern Affliction: Confusing Solitude with Loneliness. We live in the most connected time in history, yet we're facing what the U.S. Surgeon General has called a public health epidemic of loneliness. It's a feeling that has existed for centuries, but our modern world, with its remote work, social media, and constant notifications, has created a new and unique strain of it. We've been taught to fear the empty room, to see silence as failure, and to think of our own company as a last resort. This frantic need for external validation, for a mirror in others to tell us who we are, has led to a deep and dangerous mix-up between two completely different states: loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a painful emotion. It's the gap between the connection you want and the connection you have. A person can feel desperately lonely in a packed stadium, surrounded by thousands, because loneliness is an internal judgment, a story you tell yourself about what you lack. Solitude, on the other hand, is just the state of being by yourself. It's neutral, a fact, not a feeling. It only becomes good or bad based on what you do with that time. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus pointed out that being alone doesn't automatically make you sad, just as being in a crowd doesn't automatically make you happy. Your perception shapes your reality. The problem is, we are actively running from solitude. We fill every spare moment with distractions, scrolling through feeds, binge-watching shows, seeking out shallow company, anything to avoid the discomfort of being with the one person we can never escape: ourselves. The tragedy is that in running from loneliness, we're running from the very thing that could cure it. We're running from the forge where true self-reliance is built. Section 2. Our Guide Through the Silence. Seneca the Younger. So, who can guide us through this? Let's turn to one of the most brilliant minds of the Roman Empire, Lucius Annaeus Seneca. He wasn't some philosopher meditating in an ivory tower. Seneca was a statesman, a famous playwright, one of the richest men in Rome, and an advisor to the infamous Emperor Nero. He knew fame, power, and luxury. But he also knew what it was like to lose it all. For 8 long years, Seneca was banished, forced into exile on the rugged island of Corsica. Stripped of his status and surrounded by what he saw as a harsh, alien culture, he faced a profound and lasting isolation. But it was during this time, and later in his forced retirement, that he wrote some of his most powerful works. He used his solitude not as a punishment to be endured, but as a laboratory to test his ideas and strengthen his mind. Seneca lived through the kind of extreme isolation many of us fear, and he didn't just survive, he came out stronger. In his letters, he gives us a timeless prescription for turning the ache of loneliness into a sanctuary of inner peace. He teaches that while friendship is natural and good, our happiness should never depend on it. He is the perfect guide because he lived it, turning the ultimate state of aloneness into his greatest asset. Section 3. The First Principle. You must be a friend to yourself. Before you can be at peace alone, you have to be at peace with yourself. This is the cornerstone of the Stoic approach. Seneca argued that a wise person is self-sufficient. This doesn't mean becoming a hermit or rejecting people. In fact, Seneca cherished friendship. But here's the crucial distinction. The self-sufficient person wants friends but doesn't need them to fill a void. Friendships should come from a place of inner abundance, not from a sense of lack. Think about it. How can you offer real companionship to someone else if you can't even stand your own? If you find your own company boring, irritating, or scary, why would anyone else find it a source of joy? There's a story about the philosopher Cleanthes, who saw a man muttering to himself and berating his own character. Cleanthes stopped him and said, "Remember, you're not talking to a bad person. This simple line reveals a deep truth. When we're alone, we are often our own worst critics. We get caught in a vicious cycle. Feeling lonely makes us feel bad about ourselves, which makes us want to isolate even more." The Stoic solution is to intentionally become a friend to yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness, respect, and understanding you'd give a good friend. Talk to yourself with encouragement, not criticism. Seneca believed that if you're calm and composed, your own company is enough for happiness. But if your mind is a storm, being alone can be dangerous, because you'll only dream up more trouble for yourself. The first and most important job is to get your inner house in order. The key insight is that you are never truly alone because you always have yourself. The only question is whether you've cultivated a self that's worth being with. Section 4. The second principle, the harmonious rhythm of solitude and society. A common myth about Stoicism is that it's all about becoming a cold, emotionless recluse. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics knew that humans are social animals. Seneca didn't push for a life of pure solitude. Instead, he prescribed a healthy rhythm, a balance between withdrawing into yourself and engaging with the world. He wrote that we must combine and alternate solitude and society. He said one will make us long for the other. After being with people, you'll desire the quiet of solitude to reflect and recharge. After being alone, you'll naturally crave connection. He saw them as remedies for each other. This is a powerful reframing. Solitude isn't an escape from people, and society isn't an escape from yourself. They are two parts of a well-lived life. The time you spend alone strengthens you for the time you spend with others. It helps you examine your thoughts, clarify your values, and build your inner fortress, so when you do connect with people, you do it from a place of stability and integrity, not neediness. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was arguably the busiest man in the world, yet he made time every single morning for private reflection in his journal. This wasn't a luxury, it was essential maintenance for his soul. He knew that to lead others well, he first had to lead himself, and that starts in the quiet moments of self-talk. The goal isn't to pick one over the other, it's to master the art of moving between them. Use your time with others to practice kindness and connection. Use your time alone to practice reflection and self-improvement. By finding this rhythm, you stop running from the world and from yourself. Now, if this idea of deliberate self-reflection is clicking with you, one of the most powerful tools the Stoics used was journaling. It's a practice that turns messy thoughts into clear, actionable insights. To help you start this journey, we've created the Stoics Journal, a guided journal based on these very principles. It's designed to help you build that friendship with yourself, one day at a time. The link is in the description below. Now, let's get into the practical tools Seneca and the Stoics gave us to master our time alone. Section 5. The Stoics Toolkit. 6 practical exercises for meaningful solitude. Knowing the principles is one thing, but putting them into practice is everything. The Stoics weren't just thinkers, they were doers. They developed specific exercises, mental drills to train the mind for resilience. Here are 6 Stoic exercises you can use to transform your time alone. First, self-examination and journaling. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review it. Seneca did this religiously. He'd ask himself, what fault did I fix today? What temptation did I resist? In what way am I better? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest assessment. When you write your thoughts down, you gain clarity. You start seeing the patterns in your thinking, the judgments causing you pain, and the person you want to become. Journaling turns empty solitude into a laboratory for self-knowledge. Second, the mental retreat. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." You don't need a vacation to find peace. You can retreat into yourself anytime, anywhere. This is a practical drill. For just 5 or 10 minutes, shut out the world and look inward. Observe your thoughts without getting tangled up in them. The goal is to realize that peace is an internal state, not an external place. You can do this on a bus, at your desk, or in a stressful meeting. It builds the muscle for inner calm. Third, the view from above. This is a powerful visualization. Imagine yourself floating up, looking down on your body, then your house, your city, your country. Keep zooming out until the earth is just a tiny blue dot. From this cosmic perspective, watch all of human life unfold. Now, from this viewpoint, think about your own problems. See how small and temporary they feel in the grand sweep of things. This doesn't make your life meaningless. It puts your anxieties in their proper place and connects you to the vastness of the human experience. Fourth, emotional observation. Solitude is the perfect gym for emotional strength. When you're alone and a tough emotion like anger or sadness hits, your first impulse is probably to find a distraction. The Stoic move is to do the opposite. Observe it. Watch the anger rise without becoming the anger. Feel the wave of sadness without letting it drown you. This creates a small space between a feeling and your reaction to it. Every time you choose to observe instead of reacting, you're building the mental fortitude to stay calm when the world isn't. Fifth, voluntary discomfort. Seneca would periodically practice poverty eating plain food, wearing simple clothes to rob misfortune of its power over him. This involves purposefully going without things you enjoy. Take a cold shower. Fast for half a day. Sleep on the floor for a night. The point is twofold. First, it proves to you that you can handle hardship. Second, it reduces your attachment to things outside your control. When you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, the fear of being alone and losing your comforts starts to fade. Sixth, engage with the great minds. One of the best ways to feel less alone is to hang out with the greatest minds in history. Use your quiet time to read philosophy, great literature, or study something new. Seneca saw this as the highest purpose of solitude. When you engage deeply with a book, you are having a direct conversation with its author. You're connecting your mind to theirs. This transforms empty time into a period of rich personal growth, turning solitude from a void into a vibrant landscape of ideas. Section 6. Rewiring your mind, changing your judgment about being alone. Ultimately, the pain of loneliness doesn't come from the simple fact of being alone. It comes from your judgment about being alone. Epictetus put it plainly, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about the things." The suffering comes not from the empty room, but from the story that the empty room means you're a failure. This is the final, most important step. You have to actively reframe your judgments. When you feel that pang of loneliness, stop, examine the thought. Is it really true that everyone else is with someone? Is it a fact that something is wrong with me? Or are these just stories? A Stoic would challenge these automatic negative thoughts. Which story serves you better? The one that makes you feel weak, or the one that sees this moment as an opportunity for strength? This doesn't mean you pretend you don't want connection. That desire is human, but you can change your relationship to it. Instead of a desperate need, see it as a preference. And while you might prefer company, you can be perfectly content without it. As Seneca said, No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have. Cultivate contentment with what you have right now. And finally, when you do seek out connection, do it with intention. The Stoics advise us to be picky about our company. Don't just find anyone to fill the void. Find people who align with your values, people who make you better. As Seneca put it, if you would be loved, love. Reach out and share the strength you've built in your solitude. True connection is what happens when a strong, well-tended inner life meets another. Conclusion. We started with the image of a painful quiet, the silence you fear when the door closes. But the Stoics teach us that this space isn't empty. It's a space of immense potential. It's not a prison, but a sanctuary, a place for courage, self-honesty, and growth. The journey from loneliness to empowered solitude isn't about finding other people. It's about finding yourself. It's about realizing that you don't need to go anywhere or see anyone to find peace. Because, as Marcus Aurelius taught, you can always retreat into the quiet kingdom of your own soul. Self-mastery happens alone. In the stillness, you build an unbreakable character. Every time you sit with discomfort, instead of running from it, you get stronger. Seneca, in his exile, discovered that a wise person can never truly be banished because their greatest resources are carried within them. The question is not whether you're alone, but what you'll do with that time. Will you see it as a lack or as an opportunity? Will you fear the silence, or will you listen to what it has to teach you? The choice, as the Stoics knew, is yours, and yours alone. If this video has offered you a new perspective, please consider liking and subscribing for more practical guides to ancient wisdom. More importantly, let's build a community around these ideas. Go to the comments and share one way you plan to use your solitude for growth this week. Your journey can inspire others. Remember the wisdom of the Stoics and find strength in your own company.